Well, joining us in the studio is MD CEO, Bama Farms Limited, Wale Oyekoya. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning.
Now, Nigeria is said to be richly blessed with abundant natural and human resources, yet issues of food crisis in terms of quantity and quality still persist. How concerning is this for you?
Well, everybody should be more concerned, especially when it comes to the food security in this country. And that is why you have so many things happening, because if you are not able to feed your citizens, definitely there's bound to be a crisis. And that is the kind of crisis that we have now by all these insurgencies or where herdsmen are attacking farmers. And if you look at the price of goods, especially the foodstuff we have today is extremely high compared to about 2-3 years ago. And this is where we keep on talking of sustainable policy. Policy that is going to be people's oriented, where every citizen will be affected that, oh, this is a policy of government that's going to put food on my table. Yeah, if you look at what we've been talking about, mostly we have not been adding value to what we've been doing. We just plant and eat. We don't even preserve. That is why we have ourselves with the border closures now, that we are not really pushing out so many things from our reserve. It's when we have so many things in reserve, then you'll be able to think that, yes, I have the confidence of closing the border that my people will not suffer. But by and large, believe me honestly, we will get there, just a matter of time of having the right policy.
With this figure of 4.2 million?
No, it's even more than that, but let me just say that, yes, but with the visionary leaders we have, I'm not talking of the leaders we have today, but if we are going to really be able to bypass some of these things, we need to do more in order to push.
But efforts are being made by the current leadership that we have. Are you saying that this effort is nothing compared to what is needed to achieve what we need to achieve?
Definitely it's not up to, because the challenges of producing food in these countries is extremely high. When you talk of the funding, when you talk of, is land even available for people to even do farming? When you have about an acre of land doing farming, it's not really farming, it's like gardening. It's like you are just sustaining for your family. When you talk of large populations like Nigeria, we need acres of land, we need mechanizations. Without mechanization, with our exploding population over 200 million, we keep on deceiving ourselves. You keep on having a lot of youths that have been stunted, and that's why you have stunted growth. Now, a lot of people cannot even have 3 square meals a day, and that is very scary. You see some kids, they go to school, they are not even well fed, they are haggard, but there's no way they could concentrate in the school. There's no way.
Really, so much to talk about when it comes to issues of food insecurity, but thank you so much, Wale Oyekoya, for your time on TVC Breakfast. Well, joining us now in the studio is MD CEO, Bama Farms Limited, Wale Oyekoya. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you.
Now, when we talk about food insecurity, there are a lot of things involved. And when it comes to issues of Nigeria that is blessed, some experts believe that it is a difficult issue to really discuss because of the kind of apathy Nigerians develop towards locally produced foods. They prefer, you know, imported or foreign goods. How does this complicate issues when we're talking about food insecurity?
I don't think it's that complicated if you have the right policy on the ground, in the sense that we have the most arable lands in the whole world, that even most of the advanced countries, they are looking for the kind of land we have.
But this is about mindsets.
Yes.
Towards the food produced by Nigeria.
To me, it's about orientations. We have been programmed that foreign goods is better than our local foods. So what we need to do now is for us to have orientation that, listen, whatever we produce is what we should consume. Let us buy Nigeria, let's believe in Nigeria, but if you don't believe in our product, we keep on having the same problem. That is why I believe that if you have the right policy, and most of this policy are people's oriented policy, we shouldn't be having all this kind of problems.
Such as the border closure?
Well, the border closure, I have a mixed feeling with it. To me, it's good. And at the same time, we're supposed to prepare ourselves before we close the borders, like we have a whole lot of reserve that we don't have to depend on importation of some of these things. It's a mixed feelings.
Okay, talking about preparedness now, we see that the federal government is always talking about agriculture. Are the state governments keen into it? Because all of these resources are domiciled in states. For instance, some states like Taraba have yam, Benue have a lot of food stuff. So Are state governments involved in this?
They are not really keen into it. It's an opportunity that I'm expecting most of the state governors to really key into. Like, they are really trying the northern part of the country, but what about in the southwest and the south-south? Because if you look at post-harvest loss that we have in most of these produce, it's enough to even feed some of these non-nutrient people that we have in the northeast or northwest. But we are not really tapping into, we are not really adding value, and we are not really helping the farmers or the youth to even, like most of the mechanization we keep on talking about.
When you say we are not helping, I want you to break it down.
Yeah.
Is it in terms of making credit facilities available? Is it in terms of making lands available? What exactly
It's
are
very
we looking?
complicated in the sense that you have to start from the land if you are going to plant anything anyway. Whatever you're going to do in terms of agriculture and agribusiness, you have to start with the land. Then what about the infrastructures? You produce this thing that's no electricity to even add value to produce, to process. And what about the transportation system? What about the security system? So the government still have its own role. If you want people to do business in your country, especially the foreign direct investment, there must be some enabling environment. So I'm challenging most of the state governments, especially in the southwest, that agriculture is only where you can create more wealth, where you can create more employment. At the same time, you can increase your IGR.
Absolutely.
By doing the right thing. But if you are not doing the right thing, we keep on having the same problem. Funding is a key. Because most of the farmers, we're talking about the anchor borers. It's not really getting to the farmers.
Really?
Definitely.
All
this
right,
is something that I really know that can even testify to it.
All right, we'll continue this conversation, but thank you for your time, Wale Oyekoya.
Thank you.
Well, joining us in the studio is MD CEO, Bama Farms Limited, Wale Oyekoya. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast. Now, the government has put in place the Anchor Borrower Scheme, and the questions have arisen. The amount of money has been, put in place into this scheme. Is it really getting to the hands of farmers? Because if it does, would we still be finding ourselves in a situation like this?
It's a very sad situation that most of these anchor borrowers, though the government meant well, but did they really monitor how this money is being disbursed? The question and the answer is very simple. Yes, the money was rolled out and was given to some kind of set of people to give to some of these farmers. But what about the rural farmer that cannot even interpret what is on the form? So what will happen to these rural farmers who are not even educated? And some of these people that roll out this, and they have some of this what they call town hall meetings with the farmers. But at the end of the day, the money does not get to the real farmers. Because if all these billions were really injected into the agricultural sector, we would not be having all this problem we're having. We don't even have to close borders. It's just a law of demand and supply.
You are a farmer. Did you try to get the scheme? Have you gotten it?
Never. And a lot of farmers have tried that. I know that they complain. They have the same similar problem that they just gather informations. And your information is being used somewhere. And you can approach so many farmers, especially in Lagos State, maybe one or two. And what is the money given to them? Maybe about 500,000, 1 million.
But since you haven't gotten and you have other farmers who have not gotten it, why not gather yourselves and escalate the whole situation? Since the government has said that.
Engage the government on the fact that these monies are not getting to the hands of the
government they are
farmers.
engaging, they know what they are doing. It's nothing but like a corruption from the top. I'm not going to make mentions where I saw some of the offices of these high notable people where they use their offices to get some of this fund. And these are the people that are supposed to even make sure that this fund gets to the real farmers.
All right, we have this challenge, we have that challenge, and we have an issue of food insecurity. Sure. What would it take then to have a food secured country? Well,
it's just some of these projects that we are talking about that Anchor borrower is supposed to ease the pain of the farmers, but in the other way it's not. And food security is something that is supposed to really catch the senses of some of these leaders, but it's not really getting, because they are not feeling it. That's why the Minister of Agriculture will come up that Nigeria are not really suffering, there's enough suffering, because they are not feeling it. But when you go to the market, just merely seeing some of these food items on the roadside does not mean that Nigeria is self-sufficiency in food supply. So we still have a whole lot in our hand that the government really need to look into.
All right. Wale Oyekoya, thank you for your time on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you.